are sealed. We'll make the tunes for those who sing no longer. Expressive love alive in every heart. We'll share our joy with those who still are weeping. Raise hymns of strength for hearts that break in grief. We'll leap and dance the resurrection story, including all in circles of our love. We shall go out with hope of resurrection. We shall go out from strength to strength, go on. We shall go out and tell our stories boldly, tales of a love that will not let us go. We'll sing our songs of wrongs that can be righted. We'll dream our dreams of hurts that can be healed. We'll weave a cloth of all the world united within the vision of new life in Christ. We'll give a voice to those who have not spoken. We'll find the words for those.
Let's get started. I know it's not right on 12:30. Is it not on? Apparently I have to eat this thing, they tell me. I don't know. There we go. I can see my notes. So let's get started with our annual meeting for 2024. And I'm just going to light the Christ candle again. And may the light of Christ shine brightly in our lives and all around us. We're going to start with the in memoriam names. They are on the bottom of page 13. I'm going to read out all of those names, and once I've finished the names, there is quite a list this year, we'll just have a moment of silent prayer. David Adams, Dorothy Adams, Wilma Adams, Betty Duncan, Lucille Dutch Hopkins, Tom Hutton, Kay McDonald, Stuart Radke, Cheryl Ron, Pete Thibodeau, and Alan Yardley. You will also notice under that the baptisms for the year were also listed. So that is our good news. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of the meeting, I just want to remind everybody of the holy manners. They are on page 10 of your report. So Holy Manners has the acronym BRAVE, being accountable for the impact of both our words and our silence, reflecting on and naming our own biases, actively listening, vocalizing questions that arise from our learning, and encountering new ideas with curiosity and wonder. And our first motion to name myself, Dawn Blanchard, as chair and Marissa Rofes as our secretary of this meeting. This motion has been made by Paul Cruikshank and seconded by Adam Olivero. Any questions on that motion before we vote? All in favor? Any against? Abstaining? That motion is carried. And the second motion is to grant voting privileges for this meeting to adherents. So for those of you who may not be sure of what an inherent is, if you would have voting rights as an inherent, let me explain. An inherent in this context is one who believes or supports the United Church of Canada and may vote at this meeting whether they are a member of Grace United Church or have simply chosen to attend regularly. This motion was made by Lynn McDougall, and it was seconded by Doris Kobe. All those in favor? Against? Abstaining? That motion has carried. Our third motion is to accept the agenda as printed, and thank you, Laurel. So the motion was made by Kathy McCartney, and it was seconded by Jen Olivero. All in favor? Against? You're changing your mind? Okay. Abstaining? Yeah, the agenda is in the report. Yep. You're welcome. So that motion has carried. Our next motion is that the minutes from the 2023 annual congregational meeting held on Sunday, February 25th, 2024, be adopted as printed. This motion was made by Jerry Asling and seconded by Pat Wilkin. Any questions on those minutes, changes, errors, or omissions? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor? Against? Abstaining? Thank you. That motion has carried. Okay, we're going to move on to the committee reports. So they are all in your annual report. I hope everybody's had a chance to at least have a quick view of them. So those involved with committees have had a very busy year supporting our church, local and outreach missions. If you'd like to know anything more about any of the committees or would like to become involved, please contact one of the committee members that are listed on page 5. If you're not sure who that person may be, I can certainly introduce you to one of them. Committee representatives or chairs, I'm going to ask someone to come forward from each committee and just give us a 1 to 2 minute explanation of what your committee does and if you're looking for any new members. And we're going to start with spiritual care and membership. Is Sally still here? Oh, there she is. Yeah, she has a 91st birthday party to go to this afternoon. 95th? Wow. It's my cream. That was good. Yeah, you gotta really talk close to it.
Okay, so Susan wasn't able to be here today, so I'm just saying a few points with the Spiritual Care Committee. We make sure that there's visitation happening within the church community. And a lot of that is through senior support. Cards, we have Doris is our main card person. Thank you, Doris. I don't know whether Doris is still here. She sends out special occasions, Christmas, Valentine's, Easter, Thanksgiving, special birthdays, anniversaries, and addresses them, she and Susan, and then I usually do a lot of the deliveries there. We do cheer dinners, and the United Church calendar. So this past Christmas, there were 20 Christmas dinners. The turkeys were made in the kitchen here, the dinners, and delivered to 20. And those that didn't get a turkey dinner, many got calendars. The Senior Connection, pre-COVID, had been 2 luncheons. So since COVID, we did come back again. We've had, we called it the Spring Connection with just desserts and music, service with communion. And also presenting, if at baptisms, Susan always does the introduction of, presents the baby. So that's sort of generally some of the different jobs that happen and responsibilities on this Spiritual Care Committee. We are looking for more volunteers, as most committees are. So and there's not a lot of commitment to it, but we do need more, especially for trying to do a spring luncheon again. If we wanted to get back to that, we need some more volunteers there. So that's it.
Thank you, Sally, and I hope you have a great time at your birthday party this afternoon. Not yours, but the one you're attending. Okay, Christian development.
Okay, for Christian development, our main ministry is to promote small group ministries with attention to attracting and encouraging participation from young families and youth. So in the past, this has included karaoke games and nights, family swims. The kids always have such a good time with the hot chocolate and Sundays as fundraisers. And that money has gone to Silver Lake, which is dear to a lot of their hearts. we always let them pick the gifts with vision at Christmas time. And then other times the money has gone to local funds here at the church. One thing we are looking forward to bringing back is Messy Church, which we are wanting to bring back late spring, early June and stuff. So we'll be looking for volunteers. It's a really fun time. We open that time up for the community and encourage families to come in. There's always a story, there's always different activities, and then there's always food. And you always end with, the big thing about Messy Church is having a meal at the end of it. So, and we were doing this before COVID, and we were really starting to see people coming from the community. So we like Sundays because it makes it easy for families, and by the end of a week, some families are short on funds, so the meal is a big help to them. I'd like to thank Laura Lee for her dedication in teaching for Sunday school for so many years. She's currently taking a break from it, so we're looking for help with Sunday school. So I'm pleased to announce that we've got a couple of people on board. So we'll do this as a team thing so that you're not having to be there every Sunday. So if you're interested in something like that to help out, more hands are always better, so that's great. I've been with the kids a couple times, and they're a great group of kids. They are engaged. The thing I learned about them today, they love reading and stuff like that. So you get to really know the kids too, so that's great. The other part of Christian development is to promote spiritual growth across the age range of the congregation. So this has been achieved by working with Jen, our minister, to offer book and Bible group studies, and they engage you and make you grow in different ways. Other areas are encourage spiritual leadership development amongst congregation members. So if any of you are interested in joining our committee, we're a small committee and we're always looking for more people. We usually meet Sunday after church, so that's convenient for most people. Speak to myself or Pastor Jen, and we'll welcome you with open arms. Thank you. No, that's mine. Oops, sorry. Okay.
You've been giving that to Marissa.
Yes,
so
that's you.
Yeah, she can put it in the minutes.
Oh, okay.
Sure. And Sally, would you mind giving your little printout that you had to Marissa so she has something for the minutes? You didn't have one? Oh, you just spoke off the cuff, did you? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and if the other committee representatives would do that as well, it would really help Marissa out to put a few lines in the minutes about your committee. Okay, next up is Craft Plus. Joanna?
This brings me back to elementary school and public speeches, deer in the headlight. Crafts Plus has been involved in many activities at Grace. Some of them are helping to decorate the sanctuary for Christmas season and then removing those decorations, assisting with the Seniors Connection Luncheon, a Presbytery lunch, and other lunches and dinners, serving dessert at a World Day of Prayer service, providing lunch and other refreshments at the Lenten services held at St. Matthew's Lutheran Church. But we've done more than prepare and serve food. We went on a garden tour. There's a place in Newstead you've got to see. We held fashion shows. We make favors for the Christmas cheer dinners delivered to our shut-in seniors. We knit toques for the newborns at the Walkerton Hospital. So far, Hanover hasn't asked us. We have held a number of fundraising activities: chocolates, pies, gumdrop cakes, soup and pie lunches, pancake and sausage brunches. We'll hope you'll come to the next one next Sunday. Funds raised have been used to reduce the deficit in the church budget, to purchase a cooler, 2 stoves, office furniture and artwork, kitchen equipment, and to decorate and furnish the former youth room, now the bin. We share the projects we are making, ask for advice when we encounter issues, and learn new techniques for crafting. We meet on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. in the bin, and we welcome new members to come and join us.
Thank you, Joanna. And finance, George?
Well, I had this in my other presentation. So anyway, but this is where I took it from. So the finance team consists of no fewer than 5 members and no more than 7. So we're sitting at 6 right now. So we're kind of in the middle there. Responsibilities of the finance team: plan, organize, and administer the church finances to underwrite the local material needs of the congregation, subject to direction and approval of the board or congregational meeting. Ensure financial records of the church are maintained. Appoint members as we need them. Prepare a monthly statement of income and expenses for presentation to the board. Prepare an annual budget to present to the board, and you'll see the budget in your program there. In preparing the budget, it's based on the budget needs submitted by each action team. So in the fall, I start requesting this information so that we can put it together and get it to Laurel so that she has it for the annual report. Arrange for the distribution of offering envelopes and, of course, get those and process those weekly. Arrange for an annual review of the financial records, which was completed. Ensure record keeping for special gifts, memorial donations, estate gifts, etc. are done. And recruit new members as we need them. So at the present time, like I said, we're sitting at 6 and we're good there. I know there are other committees that need help. So, if you want to get involved, you can do that through them. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. He's waiting in the wings. Adam's coming up for ministry and personnel and affirm.
Oh, I can do both at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have anything written down, Marissa. I'm sorry. Okay. Hi. So for ministry and personnel, the easiest way to say this is we are the church's human resources team. So there's 4 people on our committee. We have Kathy and Ron Motz, Kathy Maskell, Ron Motz, Lawrence McKenna, and myself as the chair. And we manage hiring. We do annual reviews. We work with the finance committee if we want to hire somebody. So we work with you on how much those employees would be paid. So that's kind of stuff. We're sitting pretty good with 4 people. But if you have any interest in joining, I can certainly get in touch with me. There's a lot of handbooks you can read up on what our things are on the United Church of Canada website. But essentially we are the human resources arm of Grace United Church on the board. And then the Affirm Committee, we are the Affirm Committee. We have, how many members do we have? I got to look in here to see how many members we have on that committee. How many are there? 7. So we're sitting pretty good on the Affirm Committee too. But the Affirm Committee, we are there to, we got the Black History Month flag that we put up this month. We are there also to do some social justice and action for the church as well too. So if you have any interest in, reaching out to the wider community, promoting our church, talking about justice and ways we can broaden our church community, that's kind of what we're doing at the Affirming Committee as well too. So thank you very much. And feel free to contact me for either of those committees. Okay, I'll make sure you leave your book.
Thanks, Adam. Wow, that was a long way to bring the mic down. Okay. Music and worship, Jen?
Marissa, I'll email this to you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jen. I'm chair of the Worship and Music Committee. I would say maybe outside of property, we're probably one of the busiest committees here at the church. We oversee a lot of the day-to-day things that need to happen. Not only your ushers, we also help organize the music, special services, communions, baptisms, all the Easter services, so on and so forth. We have, I think, about 5 people on our committee right now. If you are welcome, you want to come and try it out, just come to a meeting. No obligation to stick around. We also do fundraising. We look after the Lent services, Affirming Sunday. We also help to organize the summer coverage for Pastor Jen's vacation when she abandons us for 6 or 7, 8 weeks. But I'm not bitter about it. And I'd just like to a huge thank you to all of our congregational members that do volunteer for ushering, to be head usher, even if it's just one Sunday a year, and to those members that come forward to lead services throughout the summer as well. Without you guys supporting us, our job would be that much harder. So I just want to thank all of you as well. And I think that's it, yeah. We have oversight for the director of music. We have oversight over our youth connector, possibly, and our senior connection support as well. Any questions? Great.
I'm down for 3 of the Sundays in September. Thanks, Jen. I just told her that I'm down for 3 of the Sundays when Pastor Jen is on vacation, so she's really happy now. Property, Paul?
Yeah. I'll just read you page 1 of the 19. And anyway, we're on page 16, and there's a few of the jobs that Property's been doing this last year on page 16, just a few. But we are a pretty busy group, and keeps most of us out of trouble. Mind you, it doesn't keep us young because, as some of you know, we are getting a little older, and we welcome people from Christian development even. You know, we can train kids. They can do a lot of things, yeah. But in thinking about what Property does for the church as a whole, I did read that St. Simeon of Salonika said that the building represents symbolically the dwelling place of God, heaven of heavens. So the people on the Property team do treat the church building as their own homes. And the team includes people working as electricians, plumbers, carpenters, handy persons, sharp sets of eyes looking out for next projects. Lynn's been excellent telling me when batteries are wearing out on the clocks and whatever else, right? So we've already started for this next year by replacing the batteries in the lights there. But as the building and property are very large, there's always room for more friends to step up. You can be a team member, but you could also be just an associate member, which all of you in effect are anyway. And you want to help with painting one day or leaf raking in the fall, you don't have to join up. You can just join us on one of these fun projects and be part of it. Okay, whatever you can do. So the list of work to do is always changing, and it's always long. So thank you to all who have been able to help, and to all of you whose givings make our projects possible as well. It was good to hear that the Christian Development wants to bring back a messy church. I'll mention this to Randy, the custodian, next time I see him. Because he's been working on that too. But it would make our job a little easier. And so counting Randy, there are 7 of us on that team. And we'd welcome any of you to join the team or just be part of the group whenever you can. So thank you for letting us do our work. Okay. So just page 1.
Nope, you dropped the book.
Using things first my mind, then the card. Okay.
Thank you, Paul. I have to say, when we have our board meetings, we love Paul's humor and his reports. Social Action and Global Concerns and Youth Trust.
Okay, the Social Action and Global Concerns report is on page 17. Basically, our major concern is the Mission and Service Fund and the Local Mission Fund. And that report is on page 18. The Local Mission Fund, we have, I think there's 11 or 10 groups. I forget. But you can count them on page 18. And we have a Minute for Mission each Sunday. One Sunday we do the Local Mission Fund, which Bob did this morning on the Student Success Program. I want to take a minute here now to just thank the congregation for their contribution to both those funds. Both of them were over budget. Our mission and service budget is $20,000, and we raised last year $22,129. Our local mission fund is $9,200, and this year last year we raised $11,895. So we've increased our local mission and service fund by $1,000, and that report again is on page 18. Gives you the the different projects that we support through the local mission fund. And we have at times brought forward special mission reports. I go back to the one we did with Ukraine, the problem shortly after it was invaded by Russia, and raised about $20,000 at that point for the Ukraine. And we will probably need to be doing some more of that kind of thing as well, and in addition to what we do for both the other funds. So that's our main concern, is to keep those two funds before the congregation and the needs there. Youth Trust Fund. The formal name of that is Charles and Olive Wright Memorial Trust Fund, Youth Trust Fund. So now to give some background to this, back in the late 70s, early 80s, which is a long time ago, even I was around then. And I was on that committee at the beginning, along with the Wright family. We received, I think, in 3 different installments, $50,000 each. So we had $150,000 at one point in the Youth Trust Fund. And if you remember back in the 80s, the early 80s, the interest rates were like 15, 20%, something like that. So we had a lot of money to work with, fortunately, because we did have a really active, at that point, youth organization here with Sunday school and various other things going on. As the interest rates fell down to a low level of, like 1 or 2% or something like that, we tapped into the fund a bit, so it's now somewhere in the report, 113,000 and change, and it's in a GIC at around 5%, I believe, at this point. So the report on that is on page 7. And I just want to correct on page 4, our members on there to remove, and I forgot to get this to Laurel. Laura Lee is not on the committee now, and Pat Wilkin is our Christian Development member. So over the years, it's been a real help to to this congregation to fund our youth worker and the organization of the Sunday school and Christian education program were required. And so I just want to remind, since we don't have at this point a youth worker, just to remind, of course, the Christian Education, Christian Development Committee and Sunday School that we are available to help with any activities, the cost of any activities. And I will leave this report with Marissa, if she can read my scrawl. Good luck.
Thank you, Jerry. And last but not least, we're going to have stewardship. But before I ask Lynn to come up, could I have everyone give a round of applause to stewardship for arranging the pizza lunch, all that baking with the cupcakes and the vegetables. They put on coffee and tea. And if the stewardship committee would please come out. They volunteer to do this every year at our annual meeting, and it is just, I'm so thankful that they do that. It takes a lot of pressure off of somebody else arranging it, and it's always a good lunch. Yeah. Okay, Lynn.
Talking about each of our committees?
Yeah.
What we're doing?
Yep.
We're supposed to be?
Yeah.
What a breath. Okay. I'm on the stewardship committee, and stewardship is discipleship. According to church bylaws, the responsibility of our stewardship committee is to help members to identify personal gifts, desires, and resources through which they can contribute to the life and work of the church. We try to keep the congregation informed about stewardship opportunities through the Special Gift Fund, PAR, the Planned Legacy Gift Policy, and the Will Workbooks. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, just contact one of our members, and we'll send you somewhere to get information. We also try and support the finances of the church with several fundraising functions during the year, as well as having the 2 food drives a year. I hope that everyone takes a few seconds and reads and reflects on the weekly stewardship second, posted weekly in the bulletin and on the Friday file. Our members are very, very dedicated and hardworking group. There's only 5 of us now. And we would certainly be very open to having new members with fresh and innovative ideas join our committee. And as a special gift for you today, we left you all a little bookmark so that you can take home and remember it's from stewardship. Thank you.
Lynn, do you mind giving that to Marissa? Lynn, can you give to Marissa, please, your little blurb? She wants it for the minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Okay, so we're going to move on with motion number 5. So, yep. Yeah, we're going to get to that. We have a motion for that. But thank you. Okay. So motion that the printed reports of the action teams be received for information, including any amendments. This motion was made by Pat Blackmore, and it was seconded by Adam Olivero. Do you have any questions on the reports from the committees that are in your annual report? Any questions on any of the verbal reports that you've just heard from the committees? Okay. So all in favor? Against? Abstaining? That motion is carried. So our next motion, names to add to or delete from committees as printed in the report. And the motion is to accept the appointment of officers and committee members. So this motion was made by Paul Cruikshank, and it was seconded by Doris Kobe. And do we have any additions then as, okay. And Jerry, I think you might have my pen. Is it purple? Okay, I saw a number of hands up. We'll start over here first with Sylvia.
Okay, for Christian development,
Yep.
Heather Sommer has agreed to stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
And Claire Olivero has accepted to be our youth rep.
Very nice. Okay. And I need to find my page. What page is that on? 4. Thank you. Okay, and Kathy Keiko, you had your hand up? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't see Craft Plus in the... They never have been. Oh, they never have been, apparently. We should start that. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. We'll make a note for that for next year. Okay. Any, Jen?
Add Rosemary Crick to Music and Worship as Director of Music.
Jerry? Thank you. Any other changes to our committees? Okay, seeing no more hands up, we will vote now. All those in favor? Against? Your arm is stuck? I know, there's a lot of motions. Okay. Abstaining? That motion's carried. Okay. So before we move on to finance, I would again like to issue the same challenge that I issued last year. It was incredibly successful. It did help put our church in a much better position. So that challenge was that each committee have at least one fundraiser that supports the operating cost of the church. It does not have to be a huge undertaking. Committees can work together. We have such a talented congregation here. There is so much talent at this church, and I'm still learning about it. And yet, you know, we've been coming here now since 2018, which I know isn't long for a lot of you, but it amazes me how much talent is in our church family. So let's put that talent to use and support our church so we can keep doing the good works that we do. And I know several committees have already made some very big plans, actually, for the coming months. So please keep your ears and eyes open for some of those things that are in the works for 2025. And hopefully we will have another good year. Okay, George?
Okay, finance. Next one, Adam. All right, and you can go beyond that. There we go. Kudos. Again, thanks everyone for your great support last year. We had a good year. Maybe not quite as good as what we overall wanted, but you know, it was a big step from the year before. So I took that as a win, and when I did the budget for 2025, of course, I used a lot of that as the basis, and then I added to it so that hopefully we have a better picture. Next one, Adam. Okay, the team that did the audit, again, it was they gave up a lot of time to do that. Actually, it's not an audit; it's a review. Correct terminology, since the government made some changes. And they completed that in good time. So, next. And of course, Laurel for looking after the financial records, getting that information out so that we can work with that. Next one, Adam. All the volunteers, Paul touched on that, and the big thing is that yes, it takes time. But there's a lot of savings that's in there. If we had to hire plumbers, electricians, and it goes on and on and on, it would just drive our costs much higher. So thank you for all of your work there. Next one. So Finance Committee members, I touched on this before. The group that we have, you can skip the next two, Adam, since I did that earlier. Thank you. And again, what do we do at Grace? We're a full-service church with all the positions that we have. Next one, Adam. All the groups that use our facilities that we support one way or another. Yes, they pay us a bit of rent for the use of the facilities, but they get a lot of space to do what they need to do. Next one, Adam. And again, what we do is we welcome all people. Next one. So last year, the shortfall was $18,528. Now, last year when we did the tracking of what we got, and we went over on all of the segments. However, that was just a small part of the revenue that we took in. It didn't account for expenses. There were a few little ripples in the system when that was set up. It was a good guide. It certainly helped us as we went along. And the thing about preparing that as well as the budget, I start that in the fall. So I started the 2025 budget in the fall of 2024, getting all the information I needed from the committees, going through and seeing, okay, what do we need for this expense and where do we need to raise income here and there and do things like that. And of course, things can come along throughout the year, as we found out in 2020 when COVID hit. All the planning I did for a budget, it blew that right out the window because we had to rely on the government to get us through, but that doesn't happen anymore, so keep going. So how do we generate revenue? Of course, the regular donations that we get each week. And we also get some donations from people that follow us on YouTube and live stream and stuff like that. I see these different names show up every once in a while, and I realize that, no, they're not members here, but they must partake in our services. We rent the hall, and as you look at the schedule of events for the coming week, I don't think there's any space left available because it's going to be packed with things going on. Fundraising, again, it's been touched on. Groups are planning things for that. Okay, Adam, next one. So how to make a donation, again, the different ways. Okay. Go on. Charitable causes. In 2024, and Jerry touched on this, that we handled $39,779 in funds for mission and service, that's a local mission, as well as other things that came along outside of those programs that where people or groups needed our assistance. So, that's quite a bit of money that we put out. Keep going. And of course, all the things that local mission supports, they reviewed the list. They made some changes from some of the things that happened in the past. some of those organizations are no longer around, or they changed their format and don't need our help. So we found other ways to help the community. Keep going. And of course, we get our United Church Mission and Service story each week. There's something there that we can see where somebody needs help throughout the world. Okay. Operating fund. Of course, the big thing is salaries and benefits, and then everything to run the building, the heat, the hydro, stuff like that. Okay, keep going. Now the 2025 goals, they're up there. We're on our way. We've had some hit and miss. As usual, there's got to be at least one service in the year where we get snowed out or something happens, and that happened in February. Those are just the numbers for January. Keep going. Yeah, and then there's some information to be updated on that one, but we started out slow last year, and then it came on. A lot of things happened where we generated a lot of good money to help support what we're doing, as well as looking after our building. Keep going. Now in the budget, there is no provision for fundraising because we can't say that we're going to make $5,000 on this project or $2,000 on that one or whatever. So we don't plan for those until the end of the year. We see what happens. And hopefully we have lots of income and nominal expenses for those projects. Keep going. Keep going. So ways to help the operating fund, again, donations, bulletin sponsorship, support of fundraising activities, again. Another one, Adam. And this one just says, as I stated last year, about our legacy. I've been reading that book about the history of grace. And it's quite interesting that what happened throughout the years. I think now I'm up to about 1960 or somewhere around there. And you talk about the trials and tribulations we have today. And boy, they sure had a lot of them back in the early days as they worked on it. So, anyway, keep up your good support for the year for the projects. We have a lot of people, but when we put on projects, we need a lot of help. So anybody that you can twist an arm and get them to help with the projects, it's all for the good. So, any questions? Catherine?
Just on the Grace Mission projects, in Jerry's budget it says $10,228.
Yep.
But in your budget it says $9,228.
Yep, the $10,228. I found out about that last Saturday when I was in here to put signs up about the snow. Yep. Yep. So too late to make a whole bunch of changes. So we'll raise the $10,000 somewhere somehow. Willie?
I noticed under your expenditures that it's really important that we know how much our paper and our pencils and all that kind of thing, where that money is spent. But it doesn't seem to be important that we know where our salaries and wages and what those are under that category. There's nothing under that compared to what's under all the other categories. I would like that changed.
Well, we've had a request from the staff members that the salary information be just shown as a total.
I think we have a right to know.
So,
We will have to take that up with HR, Willie, if we are allowed to give out the exact salary for each person on staff. And I will get back to you with what the ruling is on that. Okay?
okay, anything else? Robert?
There was just one kudos slide you did without it, George. It should have said George Blanchard for all the whispering he does with the account.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
Thank you. So moving on, I have a motion here that's been made to accept the 2024 financial report as printed. That motion has been made by George Blanchard, and it was seconded by Pat Hayes. Any further questions? All in favor? Against? Abstaining? That motion has carried. And I have a motion to adopt the 2025 budget. That motion was made by George Blanchard and seconded by Catherine Danko. Any questions on the budget? It's in your report. All in favor? Abstaining? Against? That motion has carried. And the motion to appoint the reviewers of the financial records, well, that's already been done, I believe, for 2024. George?
Yeah, we were done, yeah.
Okay. So we don't need that one. All right. Do I have any other items that anybody would like clarification on, has questions on, that's in your annual report? Okay. So seeing none, we'll move on. I'd like to thank Pastor Jen for her leadership and her mentorship. She is my mentor as I'm going through the lay ministry program. And wow. I'd like to thank Laurel. She got up and laughed, but I'm sure she knows how much we appreciate her. I have told her personally when I've been in the office just how much work she does getting things prepared for us. And the budgets, well, not the numbers for George as he does things. I'd like to thank Adam Olivero and the team of volunteers that were here yesterday. They mounted the TV from the friendship room so that we could all see. Adam set up everything so that this can be live streamed. The service was live streamed. He did. Jen and Claire were here. Stewardship was here as well, helping to get the tables ready. Yuki, who plays our piano so many Sundays for us, and that wonderful music she plays. And I love at the ones at the end of the service where we never know what special treat she's going to have for us. And Heather, who we do miss, but I know that she's still part of our church. She's still on some committees as well. Beth, who does our third Sundays of the month. Thank you so much, Beth. Sally, for your committee and making sure that those that are in, assisted living or nursing homes still feel part of this church and all the work that you do. I know you do a lot. And every committee chair and every committee member that is here, we are such an active church. It just amazes me every year how much gets done and how much we do. And as we're going through the year, you can forget when you get to November what was done in February. And then all of a sudden, when we start putting this annual report together and it all comes back and it's like, wow, how did we even have time for that? It is amazing what we do. So thank you very much to everyone. And even if you're not on a committee, for your volunteer time. And if you can't volunteer time, for just your support, no matter how that support is done, everything is very, very much appreciated and thankful. We are very blessed indeed here at Grace. Every one of you provide an important service. Yes.
Just, Don, on behalf of the congregation and the board, I think we need to say a thank you to you as well. We're so grateful for your leadership, your dedication, your diligence, and your professionalism. Really makes a difference. You have a job that there's a lot of stuff that goes on under the surface that nobody ever sees, but you end up having to do it in your role. So we thank you very much for what you are giving to the church.
Thank you. Thank you. And Paul, you're up.
I would move an adjournment.
Thank you, everybody.
We shall go out with hope of resurrection.